All right, man. Good afternoon. My name is Vincent Arroyo out of Buffalo, New York. I pretty much want to sit here and address the world. Hopefully, with our president of the United States of America that's getting the job done and exposing what Democrat Party truly is. I'm someone that has been through a lot with the Democrat parties due to government programs and government assistance programs. And I want to help the community out. I want to help the new generations that are going to be out here, all in love and fall in love with the wrong person and, accidentally getting them pregnant. And then that's when things can take a turn. And I want to educate the community on how the way the system operates to enslave father figures and remove father figures from the household. This is what my channel is all about. I'm somebody that has experienced this. I'm somebody that's been through it all. So I hope you can come, with me on this journey and understand that I'm trying to help. I'm not trying to get out of anything. I'm trying to help and expose the crookedness of the system. So please bear with me. This is going to be my story, and I want the world to know what it's like for father figures to be framed and set up. So no further ado, I had a bright future. I was had a great amateur career. You're looking at the first guy to beat Danny Jacob in his prime. You're also looking at a guy that had a promising boxing career, and it all made a twisted turn due to the fact that at 18 years old, I was forced to be married. That's right, forced. Whether you believe it or not, I was bribed not only by her father to give the newlyweds a wedding gift if I go along with this. And me not understanding the consequences of doing this, it led for everything to have a peak, and then everything just fell, and pretty much my career was ended due to the fact being forced to be married to a younger girl, 17, I was 18. And also to be framed by her as her husband. I didn't feel right at the wedding. I didn't feel right when we were all supposed to celebrate at Ben Chetty's. I didn't feel right at all. I ended up leaving because I knew it didn't suit right with me. It didn't fit right with me. You get what I'm saying? So this is hard for me to explain. Because no one understands this, and I'm hoping by me exposing my stories, we can get other people out there that have similar outcomes dealing, with this situation. And I just find it unfair. I find it very unfair that men can get set up. I find it very unfair that men can be framed. And I find it very unfair that the government, like DSS, Social Service, CPS, and family courtroom are all in on this, on dividing and conquering our households. However, they also the biggest movement of independency for females. They also promoted in their buildings. Are you being controlled, being abused? Are you seeking help? And this is where the framing begins. This is where they end up selling the father under the table once the child was born. And once the father's working, and then all of a suddenly a domestic violence case occurs. That is not a coincidence. You could connect every domestic violence case to DSS and family courtroom. Why? It's a hustle. It's a hustle not only for females to claim child tax credit, all for themselves, but also receive passive income. Okay? So you got to understand something. Why my wife done what she done, and how family courtroom violated marital protocols. At 18, 19 years old, I went to family courtroom, and I knew I was protected through marriage. And I told the judge when I was younger, I said, I'm going for a divorce. I don't want to be in this. She didn't want me to have full visitation of the kid. She wanted me to give up my rights of the kid. And this is where the racism comes in, a family courtroom. If I was so-called this abusive man, if I was so-called this abusive boyfriend and then became husband, then why did you marry if it wasn't for your father to commit fraud of having not to pay any more child support to his ex-wife, which my wife was resigning with. So you see, I'm the decoy, okay? I'm the decoy, and my wife and her father and everybody used me, because I'm sure they bribed not only me, but my mother and my parents, and they forced me to sign the birth certificate when I know I'm in my right. I don't have to sign anything, okay? So I was peer pressured by my parents of signing these paper, because at the time, she wasn't even living with me. She wasn't even living with me. We weren't together. We weren't nothing. You get what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden want to get married. And then why? Because the father did no longer want responsibility of paying child support for his daughter and a child, which he would be legally obligated to pay out more money. So they needed me to be the decoy and get married to my ex-wife. And since I was married to her, never legally separated, family courtroom peer pressured me. Family courtroom said I can't leave this courtroom until they get these signatures. With no attorney in my side, no one to protect my civil rights, no one there to protect me of my way of living, it allowed my ex-wife to not only steal money from me, which I can charge her with theft, because she got family courtroom involved after I alerted family courtroom that I'm going for divorce, so that me and her will sit down with attorneys and we'll go through it and follow the marital protocols. At the time, I was making money and I could afford it. So what other idea to steal my wealth so I can't afford any attorney? And so I said, okay, now I'm broke. Now my money's gone, okay? And they're not jotting it down in family courtroom. They're not jotting it down. They're not showing that I make payments. They're not showing none of that. They stealing my money, because I know in New York State law, any boxer that owes child support has to fill out a New York State from the Athletic Commission to order to participate in any boxing ring made in the United States of America. Okay, therefore, where is the money and where's the tracks? The tracking of the money. You get what I'm saying? But they weren't supposed to get involved, period, because they violated marital protocols. And this is why I tell everybody now, do not sign any documents, and do not trust legal aid, neighborhood legal service, bar association. Here goes an attorney to hire an attorney, and it's from neighborhood legal service. I finally got one. Since 18 years old, I am 37. I just got this now. So talk about statute of limitations. Talk about not able to address what the judge has ruled over you, but talk about framing by the own justice system. Talk about attorneys that's supposed to be here and support the community. Talk about attorneys that are getting their license not only through criminal activity, but also family courtroom by selling fathers and making people sign documents and not representing them fully to their best interest. Every father has the rights to give up their rights of their children. Every father has that right, because my female, who is white, was able to do so. And her father, the baby father, was able to do so, keep his license, keep his business, and not have no responsibility for that child. Exactly. So this is my point to the black community and the Latino community. We are not being legally represented in our best interest. Democrat Party are not in our best interest. They never have. If you don't know nothing about Democrat Party, and if you don't know nothing about the way the system works, then I'm here to enlighten you. I'm here to shine a light on something that you're not even looking at, because you're not paying close attention to the details. But you see, that's when I come in. That's where I'm good at, okay? So guess what? If you look at the back of the application of any welfare application, it says, do you want to be a volunteer, organ donor, or muscle tissue donation? Therefore, welfare is in the harvesting business. And if you don't believe me, it's connected to the body broker industry. It's connected to donate your body to science. Let's keep your ass in poverty for a reason. Let's separate the households. Let's separate the father. Let's turn the woman into an independent woman. And now that's the outcome year after year, decade after decade. And they're doing that, sabotaging our households. Well, this was going to happen, white versus color, because guess what? She's a white woman, I'm color. It's easier to frame in the court system. Does that sound like justice to you? Does it sound like I have received any justice? Well, let me shine a light on you. Who? Neighborhood Legal Service. Equal justice for all. For all? I don't think so. It says Neighborhood Legal Service, right here, is not currently proceeding applications. So talk about preventing you from addressing something and allowing the statute of limitations to come into effect. So talk about being framed. Talk about being absolutely 100%. We're being framed. And we walk in acting like, oh, we know what we're doing, when really we don't. They know that. So it's okay for the educated to take advantage of a non-educated people in the community, and there's no law to protect us from stolen signatures. You see, this is where I come in. See, if you help me spread my word, you help me get justice on being framed by a female, which you can absolutely connect every domestic violence case, not only to DSS social workers, but also family courtroom. That's not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to help fight. I'm here to help us men get out of this whatever system that this is to enslave us, to use your flesh and blood, to have you pay for something that you was already committed to do. You get what I'm saying? I have a written letter right here from Washington. They want me to fill out a form so they can hear my story. I voted for Donald Trump. The reason why I voted for Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is exposing everything about Democrat parties. And this is one of their hustles. That's right. Family courtroom is one of the Democrat Party hustles. Okay? And I'm just going to sit here and say that. This is what they're doing. They are not in your best interest of your household. They are not in your best interest for your family. This program keeps you in poverty. Okay? And I believe that if a child is born and the father can't see the child because of the mother's false accusation, I should be able to charge her with defamation. I should be able to charge her for stealing my son. I should be able to everything else that she has done to me. Do you understand? I almost commit suicide. That's why if you click on my wolf icon, you'll see the encounters I'm having with my children that come and go to stir my emotions due to my mental whatever at the time, whatever, if your father's going through mental illness problems. But it's okay for these females that are ungrateful that these babies are only made for them to receive benefits, but they don't care about that child growing up without a father, to be an influence for his father, from the father to the daughter or to son. And it's okay for these females to do all this and above, and us men are not getting protected. Okay? I have my son coming in and out of my life, playing on my emotions. How all my other domestic violence cases occurred due to this factor, due to that this woman is literally torturing me emotionally. Imagine being 18 years old, having your firstborn stripped from you, just literally taken from you. I had a home that I provided at Raintree Island at 18 years old, 19 years old. That's right. Paying $900 and something a rent for an apartment that I provide for my family. Imagine buying $175 worth of groceries out of pure cash. No food stamps, no nothing, because I didn't want help from Uncle Sam. I didn't want help from the government. I didn't want help for a program that is designed to divide and conquer us. Why would I want that for my family? No, I knew I was going to be successful. I knew I didn't want to work with the team that I was working with. You see what I'm saying? And I knew I had to go about my business elsewhere. But of course, my career got put into a stop because since years I've been going down to legal aid, neighborhood legal service, bar association, to help me with these matters, to help me fix what's done happened. What they did, they forced me to sign documents while being legally married in family courtroom. If I would have never signed those documents, they can't come after me. They can't do nothing to me because I'm in my right. I'm legally married. And the reason why I got married is because I was peer pressured. I was bribed. Okay? And whether they like it or not, hey, this ain't defamation on them. This is facts. This girl, do you understand her father owns a multi-million-dollar contract, roof, construction, a multi-million-dollar construction company. And this girl's claiming to be in poverty. This girl's claiming to be poor. This girl's claiming that I abandoned her. For real? Do you see what I'm sitting there saying? Do you see that a female, a white woman, and if I recall, here in Buffalo, there have been about 3 arrests so far that I've seen since I've been connected to the news of black women getting arrested and black men getting arrested for committing fraud. But there's 2 white girls that are getting away with everything. They're not getting hit with fraud at all. There ain't nothing wrong with them. These females can making money, can make moves. Her father could put a money down on a home for her at any given time. $500,000 life insurance policy. How can she claim welfare? This is my point. This is the scandalous that I'm trying to expose here with telling you my story. And whether they like it or not, I am in my rights to fight for my rights, since no attorney is helping me fight for my constitutional rights, which I'm proving we have none. So, back to reality is, fathers are being framed. Fathers out here deserve a second chance. And I don't think what Trump is doing is good enough. I believe every female that claimed a child tax credit for themselves should automatically go into effect of removing all the rears for all the framing and domestic violence cases. I bet money. I bet a year in jail. I bet a year in jail. Any female that's on any government assistance that has domestic violence case on their record to take a lie detector test. Take a lie detector test and see if they did not frame that man or any man that are out there. And you will get your answer. I bet you 98% of these females will fail. I am that convinced. I know. Okay? Let me tell you my other encounter. Trying to break up my home and my family still to this day. Here goes a police report. Here goes a police report. I filed a police report. Okay? This is a real fact police report. CPS. Okay? Against CPS for trying to frame me and saying that I deliberately put a beer in my 6-year-old son's book bag and went to school with it. You mean to tell me all the staffs that are in there was able to have 6 minutes of my son going into his book bag, getting something that I believe they deliberately planted on my son to try to get into my house, to cause more commotions? Because look at what I'm going through. I've been going through this since 16, 17, 18 years old, and they want me to have an accident through preying on my emotions and preying on my feelings and my mental that I deal with on a daily basis, which I suffer for PTSD, anxiety disorder. I suffer for TBI. So anything can trigger me, you know what I mean? Even just like a noise or anything like that, I can get flustered real quick. And that's because I'm not afraid to say that I have a problem. But I'm also not afraid to stand up when there is a problem. And this is a problem for our community. And if we don't stand together, all of us men, and stand up and realize we are being played. We're being played by a system that don't care if you go if your kids is strict from you, they only care about one thing, your labor. So I actually encourage you to please understand that I'm out here risking my life, risking my future, all my information that I'm going through. I'm just trying to show you, and I got more videos. I got videos me going downtown, and then all of a sudden legal aid's office completely closed. And so you see what I'm saying? I'm going to show you that video. Here goes me. Here goes my son. Here goes me at 18, 19 years old with my daughter being a father. Here goes my son. Here goes my son in the picture.